If you think that you need 10 indicators, 5 monitors, and some crazy algorithm to make money trading, you don't. Over the past 8 years of trading, I've tested pretty much everything. Scalping strategies, indicators, market profile, ICT concepts, trend systems. And honestly, most of it just made my trading way more complicated than it needed to be. So through all the pain, the struggle, the losing trades, the stress, I'm going to share with you a strategy that is very simple. No complicated indicators, no guessing where price might go, just supply and demand, price action, and a repeatable system that I use every single day. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact strategy I use, how I find trades every day, where I enter, my stop loss, my take profit, and I'll show you real trade examples. So if you've been struggling with your trading or you just want a simple system you can actually follow, this video will help you a lot. So if you guys could, make sure to hit that like button as well as clicking that subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. And if you haven't, make sure to join the free Discord. That link will be down in the description. But let's go ahead and let's hop into it. Alright, so for the ones that are new here, my name is Brandon. I go by Brandon Trades. I've been trading for about 8 years now. I've taught thousands of plus students. I've built a YouTube channel with over 125,000 subscribers, and I've been invited to the New York Stock Exchange. But none of that happened overnight. When I first started trading, there's been plenty of times where I overtraded, chased the market, lost money trading, and made pretty much every mistake you could imagine. And what finally changed everything for me was when I started to realize something simple. Profitable trading is about doing less, not more. And instead of trying to trade everything, I focus on one simple model. And that repeats itself every day in the market. And that model is supply and demand. Now, before hopping into the strategy, this is why most traders struggle or fail. One, you're trading with too many indicators. You're looking for the holy grail system, the holy grail indicator that you think is magically going to make you profitable. Well, guess what? No indicator is going to do that. Two, you overcomplicate strategies. All you need to do is find a system that's simple and repeatable. Three, chasing the market. You need to enter at the right time in the market. If the market makes a move without you, you're too late, move on. And four, you have no clear system. You're simply just hopping into the market every day and you're gambling, and that's the last thing that you want to do. Now, the goal of this strategy is to keep trading simple, to focus on high probability setups, to control risk above all else, and to let your winners run. Now, here are how markets actually move. When there are more buyers, price rises. So this means that demand is exceeding supply and institutions are buying, which means overall bullish momentum. On the flip side, we have more sellers, price goes down, so price is falling, supply exceeds demand, institutions are selling, and this means that there is bearish momentum. Now, a key insight. Institutions create imbalances, and these are our trading opportunities. Now, what are supply and demand zones? Well, supply zones are areas where sellers entered the market heavily. Price is likely going to drop when it revisits these levels. On the flip side, we have demand. Areas where buyers enter the market heavily and price is likely to rise when it revisits these zones. Institutions leave footprints on the chart, and that's exactly what we want to trade. Now, here's personally what I focus on and what I trade. I mainly trade the NASDAQ futures as well as the S&P futures. And the reason I focus on these is because they have extremely high liquidity, very clean price action, and they move a lot during the New York session. Now, for me personally, most of my trades happen between 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. EST. That's when real volatility enters the market. Now, I do want to say this system, it works on any futures instrument. It does also work on individual stocks, but I have realized it's a lot more accurate on the futures. But personally, like I said, I just trade NQ and ES, sometimes gold futures, but this strategy applies to any futures instrument or any individual stock. So step number one is going to be marking your supply and demand zones. The first thing I do every morning is I mark key areas of supply and key areas of demand. Now, what I look for to plot these zones is a very strong move away from a level, and this is going to show institutional activity. If price suddenly explodes to the upside, that means buyers aggressively stepped in, and that area now becomes a demand zone. If price drops aggressively, that's a supply zone, meaning sellers stepped in heavily. The key thing here is speed and imbalance. If price slowly drifts away from a level, it's not important. But if price launches away quickly, that's where institutions likely entered. So I mark those zones on my chart before the trading session even starts. And now instead of watching the entire chart, I'm only watching specific levels. And again, what makes a strong zone? First, we need to have a fast and explosive move away from that key level. Second, we need strong momentum on the departure. Third, large, powerful candles. And fourth, a clear imbalance between buyers and sellers. Now, step 2, wait. Here's where most traders mess up. They chase the market. They see price moving fast and they jump in randomly. But the best trades usually happen when price returns to a key level, not when it's running away. So once I mark my zones, I wait for price to come back into them. And when price revisits these areas, one of two things is going to happen. 1, price rejects or bounces off the zone, or 2, price breaks through the zone and then continues. Our job is simply to watch how price reacts when it gets there. We're not predicting, we're reacting. So again, price is either going to hit the zone and confirm the bounce or reject, or 2, price is just going to break through it and invalidate the entire zone. Now, one thing to keep in mind, when price does break through these zones, it's invalid, delete it off your chart. Now, step number 3 is going to be entry confirmation. Once price enters a supply zone or a demand zone, I'm looking for confirmation. This is where price action comes in. Strong rejection candles if we're going up to a supply. Strong bounce candles if we're going down to a demand. Engulfing candles off of these levels, so whether they're bullish or bearish engulfing. Sharp momentum shifts, or failed breakouts at these key levels. So let's say price enters a demand zone. If buyers step in and we see a strong bullish candle, that tells me the buyers are defending the level. My stop loss goes just below the demand zone, because if price breaks that level, the setup is invalid. On the other hand, if price enters a supply zone, I look for sellers stepping in. Once we see rejection and momentum shifting downward, I enter short with my stop above the zone. So again, we come down to demand, we bounce off of it. I enter short with my stop loss on the opposite side of the confirmation candle. So again, let's say we come down to a demand zone. I'll show you guys some examples here in a little bit, but we come down to a demand zone, we bounce off of it, bullish candle, nice long lower wick. That confirms a long entry to the upside. Our stop loss is on the opposite side of that bullish confirmation candle. If we go out to a supply zone, we reject off of it, we have a bearish candle, long upper wick, that would confirm a short entry with our stop loss right above that bearish confirmation candle. So our risk is always very limited when our potential reward is massively large. And this allows us to keep the risk very small while giving the trade room to move. Now, as far as risk management, this is the part that most traders ignore. Risk management is actually what keeps you profitable. I don't try to be right on every trade. I just make sure my losers stay small and my winners are bigger. Typically, I aim for at least a 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 risk to reward. For example, if I risk $300 on a trade, first off, I want to at least make $300 profit. But I'm ideally looking to make $600, $900. Some trades lose, and that's normal. But when the winners come, they more than make up for our losses. This is how you build consistent, profitable months, like 10K profits, 20K profits, or even 30K profits from trading. And as far as scaling out, another thing I do is scale out of my trades. Instead of closing the entire position at once, I take profits in stages. And this is where I see like a lot of traders mess up. It hits their, first price target and then they fully exit the position. That is the last thing that we want to do, right? Because there's absolutely more potential for the trade to move in our favor. How would you feel if you took a trade on the NASDAQ futures and you call it like, let's say 30 points and you fully exited everything at once, but then it runs 70, 80, 90, 100 points? You would be kicking yourself in the ass, especially if you had multiple contracts. Now, if you're only trading one contract, then obviously, you can't scale out of your position. But if you trade multiple contracts, you have that luxury of being able to scale out of your position. So how do we actually scale out? As price gets to my first profit level, whether that be like a 1 to 1.5 hour trade, maybe a 2 hour trade, I'll scale out about half of my position. Now, the reason I say about is because sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more. It really depends on overall market structure. So that also plays a role in how much I'm trimming at first. But then from there, I'm letting the rest run. Once the trade moves in my favor, I'll often move my stop loss to break even. So once I get about that first trim, I will put my stop loss at break even. You guys hear it all the time when I'm in my live streams. I say, worst case scenario, we got to trim and then we stop out the rest at break even. Either way, we made money on this trade. And that is a wonderful spot to be in as a trader. But what this allows me to do is it makes the trade completely risk-free. I have profits locked in, and this allows me to catch larger moves in the market without worrying about turning winners into losers. And I'm sure you guys have seen it all the time on social media where a trader, they're in profits, but they don't put their stop loss at break even and they let the trade go red. Like, to me, that is very, very stupid to do. So sometimes these winners can turn into huge trades. But in order to catch those huge trades, we had to simply keep scaling out and moving our stop loss up. And that's how in the last couple weeks, we have caught some massive moves on the NASDAQ futures. Again, simply just scaling out and moving our stop loss. So let's go ahead and let's look at some real trade examples. All right, so this is a trade recap that I did on the S&P futures. We ended up having this demand zone marked right here, which I want to say was from like a 45-minute time frame, give or take. So now if we break it down to a 5-minute time frame, you can see this is where we ended up hitting that demand zone, and then I was able to catch a nice little move to the upside. But as we came down into this demand zone, I want you to notice first off the overall absorption in the order flow. So order flow plays a really big role in my trading. But we come down, we hit the area. What do we notice? We started to get a volume elevation. On this candle, I did not wait for the 5-minute candle close. It's, it varies depending on if I wait for a candle close or not, just on the overall momentum. But for this trade, when we came down into the demand zone and we started getting very large absorption from the buyers on the S&P futures, and then also what really sparked my interest was this very quick and aggressive pop right back up. This is within the span of like nanoseconds that we made a very quick and aggressive move up like this. So when I saw that and we started to reclaim that level, that is when I went long, my stop loss on the opposite side of the confirmation candle, and I was able to capture this move to the upside. Again, it's a very easy system. Mark your supply and demand zones, wait for price to trade to it, look for confirmation in the price action as well as the volume, and use order flow to help with that confirmation. If you don't know how to use order flow, I'll be leaving a link to those videos down in the description. So here's another example right here. So we have a very large and aggressive move to the upside. Look, one candle to the left, we have that smaller red candle. So we mark that basing candle. Here's our upper wick, here's the open, and then it looks like we had some other zones within this demand zone as well. If you guys have watched my previous supply and demand classes, remember we're typically watching the wick and then the open of that candle. So when price trades back down into it, we are looking for a reaction. All right, so as we can see, very large move up. This is when price started to form that impulse candle. Price then came back and started retesting the demand zone. Again, the open of that basing candle that created demand. And what do we notice as price started trading down into the demand? Very large buyers on the heat map. We had a lot of absorption from the buyers as well, which is this green right here. But then equally, look at the wicks as they start coming down. Price breaks below, comes back up, reclaims it. Volume is staying elevated in this overall area, which is confirming to us that this is likely going to be the bounce area. So if you ended up going long, either at the end of this 5-minute candle or at the close of this 5-minute candle, your stop loss would be right below here. And from there, you can see that the ES futures made a very nice move to the upside. Look, one candle to the left, it's a small red candle, mark that upper wick, mark the open. We are then waiting for price to trade back down into that demand zone. Again, ideally watching that upper wick as well as the open of that basing candle right there. So then when we break price down to a 5-minute time frame, again using the order flow as well as price action and volume, look at that long lower wick bouncing right off the demand zone, coming back up. That's very bullish. Look at the volume elevation. It's very clear that buyers were present. But then equally at the same time as price traded down into that demand zone, looking at the order flow and especially the heat map, what do we notice? Very large buyers at that exact area as well. Price came back up, started to reclaim it. Very bullish candle close. This would be your entry to go long. Stop loss right below this low. And from there, you can see that price made a very large move to the upside for about like 20 points before it started pulling back. So my final advice to you guys, the biggest mistake that traders make is trying to trade too much. You don't need to catch every move. You just need to wait for your setup. Mark your zones, be patient, manage risk, and let the market come to you. That's the exact system that helped me build consistent trading income, and it's the same strategy I still use today. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and also tap in every single morning for New York Market Open. I go live, I live trade here on YouTube for completely free every single morning. So make sure you guys tap into that. And if you want to learn more about my full trading strategy and the tools that I use, make sure to check the links down in the description. Other than that, everybody have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.